Hey everyone, welcome back. I've got garlic in the back of me, and today I'm going to be talking about the tricks to successfully growing large and beautiful garlic in your own garden without anything using any chemicals or anything else. So, first trick is you want to plant this garlic in the fall. Um, if you are new to garlic and you're planting it in the spring, you can still get away with it, but you're not going to get big enough bulbs from that. The bulbs are going to be somewhat small. So this garlic was planted, I believe, like around October or so, maybe early November. Right now we're in the end of March, and you can see the size of this garlic, how beautiful it looks. I'll give you a close up. Second thing, garlic needs a lot of nitrogen. So when the shoots, the greens are produced on here, each leaf will be a clove of garlic. So in a head of garlic, per each leaf will be a clove. So you want to have as many leaves as possible. Other trick, when you're planting garlic, you got to plant the biggest bulbs and the biggest cloves that you have. When you plant the biggest cloves, you're gonna get the biggest results. So don't eat the biggest ones, save them for planting for next year. I'm gonna give you a close-up of what's going on right now in it, and also talk about a couple other things that you should be doing in the spring, as well as kind of following through throughout the summer time as the garlic grows. Okay, so we have garlic here, and if you look at it, I know this is going to be a good harvest because look how many shoots this produces on the greens, and look at the thickness of these stems here. I mean, this is the thickness of my finger already, and we're only in early springtime. When you plant this, you want to have a good source of nitrogen in the soil. So make sure the soil is not nitrogen depleted. Make sure you have a lot of nitrogen in it, as well as adding some as you go. Now, the other thing right now, springtime, you can see the little weeds that are popping up. We got grass, we got weeds, different things just popping up all over. I will be going through this today and pulling all these weeds, weeding this bed out as much as I can, not to disturb the garlic, but to clean it out and eliminate anything that's going to suck nutrients from the ground. They are a high feeder, so you want to make sure you feed is very important, as well as covering with some sort of cover to prevent the weeds growing. So this is our another bed. We have a little bit less, they're more spaced in here than the other one, just because that's pretty much all we had to plant. So weed them and then add nitrogen. You want to keep on adding on nitrogen until they stop producing shoots. So maybe for another month or so. I mean, obviously you don't want to add nitrogens like on daily basis or something, but fairly consistently. Right now I'll be cleaning out some of my chicken brooders, and it's gonna be young chicken poop with mixed with wood chips and wood shavings. I will be adding some of it, but you don't want to be adding a lot of it because it's hot. So be very careful when you use chicken manure, chicken poop in it. But this garlic is looking beautiful. I'm loving what I'm seeing. I mean, look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cloves in here. And when you add nitrogen, it's going to produce them even more, and they're going to be larger. Most of this garlic is hardneck garlic, so this is the variety I like. Hardneck is a little bit bigger, easier to peel, easier to clean, but you can do soft neck as well. Anyways, I'm gonna start pulling the weeds out of here, adding nitrogen compost into here, and we're still in spring and we're in Pacific Northwest, so we get a lot of water. And the reason I'm talking about water is because that's another component that you need to be aware and make sure that there's abundance of it right now when it's producing all the greens, is that it's going to be well watered for now until you're going to start seeing the yellowing and the dying back of the greens, which is going to be later in the season, and we'll talk about that before harvesting. They're going to produce a shoot out from it as well, which you can scape, which you can collect and cook it just as garlic, and it's actually really good. Good meal out of it, something that you get on the side from growing garlic in your garden. So very easy to grow, something that you can get in the ground very early from fall, and produces a lot and will last you throughout the winter as well. All right, so that was pulling weeds out. Now I want to show you about the compost that we use for the manure, or the manure from the chickens. So this is where we keep our little baby chicks in here, and this is the stuff that we use. We usually have wood chips, and it's just, you know, it's kind of a mixture of wood chips, feed, and chicken poop in here. And you got to be careful when you're using this stuff, because you don't want to put too much of it so it doesn't burn your vegetables, especially like garlic and young shoots. So be very careful with this. This is hot compost. You want to be putting very little amounts of it. If you have chickens and you're able to add it to the regular compost pile, then it's a little bit easier, but I use this sparingly, not too much of it, and it does great. I'll show you where I get the wood shavings though, and it's part of the reason why I'm able to do it, is that right over here is where we have our little wood shop set up, and I have this little jig that I flatten live edge slabs with, and it produces a lot of wood chips and a lot of shavings. So all those shavings we use in our brooders and our chicken houses and everywhere else, and then we add them to the compost pile or add them straight to our garden. Hey Topes, how are the chickens doing? Good, that's good. All right, so I'll get that and get all of this and add it to our compost, onto our garlic. Well, that's pretty much it. You saw me put the compost on it, very little amount, not a lot of it. I'll show you what it looks like with it on the ground, but this is what you want to do throughout the spring and through the summer as well, maybe once a month, while still growing. A little bit later, you want to make sure also you water it well, and that you always keep it moist, the ground moist around the garlic. Okay, so as you can see here, I just barely covered the ground with it all, and now that I have it on the ground, you know, pulled all the weeds, got it on here, mixed with it. Once the rain starts going, it will wash it in, and the soil will start absorbing, and the plants will start absorbing all the nitrogen. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you can enjoy this little clip on the garlic tips, and we will have more videos as the season prolongs on this and they get closer to harvest time. So give us a thumbs up and follow our YouTube channel, and we'll be back.